Tuesday, but not happy.
Okay. Everything's in Malaga, Spain for 6 months. Intensive Spanish language.
They did not have stuff like that when we were in school. Do you know that?
Yeah. I mean, he came home and said they got a program to spend a semester abroad. And I thought, you know, because they swap out stuff. And then he came home and said his advisor said he'd be better off if he took an intensive language, Spanish language courses. Where could you go? He said, well, Malaga, which is where my father lived until he died. He lasted 7 or 8 years of his life. Or Molinas, which is a suburb of Malaga, and I thought he was going to be able to go.
Excuse us.
Good evening. The Cookeville City Council, June 21st, 2007 meeting will come to order. We will have a roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Shelton.
Here.
Mayor Salee. Vice Mayor Davis.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
4 present, 1 absent.
If you would pause with me now, bow your heads, and we'll have a moment of prayer. Dear God, we give you thanks for this city, for all the workers who make this city a great place to live. We thank you for all the citizens who participate and contribute so much. Be with us as a council as we undertake this awesome responsibility in making decisions for the best of all. We ask your blessings upon the families of the firefighters in South Carolina. And we, as always, we want to remember our military that defend our country and be with us all. Amen. We will stand and have the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Shelton will lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now look at our agenda and consider approval of it. Do we have any additions or deletions or corrections on the agenda? Ms.
Yes,
McLean.
Vice Mayor and Council, we do have a few additions. We have 2. In the last meeting, we set a date for the annexation of Bunker Hill Road and Lovelady Road for July the 5th. We need to add an item to reset the date for July the 19th for the public hearing of Ordinance 706-12 and Resolution 706-06 for the Bunker Hill Road, Lovelady Road area annexation. And this is due to we weren't able to get the proper publications in by the deadline, so according to TCA we need to reschedule. And also we have one item to add, and if you don't mind, we can put that set a date in the consent agenda items, make it the last one.
Okay.
And then we have one more, consider approval of emergency purchase of precast box culvert for the Public Works Department. And I'd like to put that right after item 16 before the bids.
So set 16B, is that what it'll be?
Right.
Can you do that?
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as Ms. McLean has instructed us?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion, council or audience? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
All right. We have we come to this introduction to our meeting, a very pleasant thing that we get to do here, recognizing some very important people in our community, and I'll ask Chief Terry to come to the podium, and we will hear the
Vice Mayor and Council, the Cookeville Police Department began the Awards and Commendations Program as a mechanism for recognizing exceptional service to the community by members of the department. The criteria for the awards and commendations are high. Only those persons who have clearly distinguished themselves will be recipients. I have the distinct honor of presenting 3 members of the Cookeville Police Department for life-saving awards. Officer Ryan Dalton had a prior commitment and couldn't be here with us tonight. With me tonight are Officers Chris Melton, Calvin Anderson, and Glenn Ramsey. This award is conferred on sworn and civilian members of the department who are directly responsible for saving human life. Lieutenant Pat Seeley, the 3rd Shift Supervisor, will come forward and summarize the events that occurred on April 29, 2007.
Vice Mayor and members of the Council, during the early morning hours of April 29th of this year, Officers Chris Melton and Ryan Dalton responded to a single vehicle accident near 1115 East Broad Street. Upon arrival, Officer Melton found the vehicle engulfed in flames with passenger Ray Cole still inside. Officer Melton requested assistance and took immediate action to extinguish the fire. He then had to physically force the passenger door open. As the fire flared again, Officer Dalton arrived with a second fire extinguisher. Officer Melton again held back the flames as Officer Dalton pulled Mr. Cole away from the burning vehicle. Given the extensive injuries to Mr. Cole's upper legs and hip, he would have been unable to pull himself from the flames that engulfed the passenger compartment of the vehicle. This is the video of the event.
Wow.
East Broad. Complainant did advise she saw someone running from the location but could not give me any kind of description. 45, airport.
Got somebody in the vehicle. Hey, can you get out?
I'm trying, man.
Are you peeing?
No.
Get... 59 City, get me a 4733. Alright. Get me a space up here. Get out, Ray. Where the hell is that? Get the hell out. Get it.
I believe this is where it changes to Officer Dalton's video.
Come on, partner. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get up. I can't. Come on. Lay down, buddy. You okay? Hang on.
Thank you.
Captain Max will now give a summary of the events that occurred during the AED call, June 6, 2007.
Vice Mayor, members of the council, during the morning of June the 6th of this year, officers Calvin Anderson and Glenn Ramsey responded to 1576 Rosebank Avenue in Honeybrook subdivision where a frantic woman had called for help. Though not dispatched to this EMS call, these officers took the initiative to respond without hesitation to this request for unknown assistance. Upon arrival, they found resident Shirag Shaw, on the floor near the doorway. Mr. Shaw gasped for air once and quit breathing. Officers Ramsey cleared Mr. Shaw's airway, but still could not detect a pulse or signs of breathing. He then started CPR while Officer Anderson prepared the automatic external defibrillator retrieved from his patrol car. The officers then delivered a life-saving electrical shock from the AED, continuing performing CPR until Mr. Shaw started breathing on his own and EMS arrived. By giving early access to care, early CPR, and early defibrillation, Officers Anderson and Ramsey provided the critical steps in the cardiac chain of survival that led to Mr. Shaw surviving his heart attack.
Vice Mayor and Council, members' unwavering initiative and quick intervention of these three officers during these critical incidents undoubtedly saved human lives and exemplified the dedication and commitment and the best traditions of law enforcement profession.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can please.
I told them they could speak if they wanted to, or they could leave like everybody else is going. I think they're going to leave. Thanks.
All right.
We're so happy to have such a wonderful police force in our community.
Oh.
That's the man there.
I think so.
That's the man there. That's the kid. Glasses.
Oh.
Oh. Well, we're
Thank you.
for being here. Now we have another presentation to the Cookeville High School soccer team, and Coach Grant Kelly will come forward and bring his team so that you may see these young men.
Well, of course.
Oh, wow.
We will let the coach say a few words and introduce the team members if he would choose, and then after he finishes, I'll read the proclamation that the city will be presenting to this team.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having us tonight. Becco Zekic, Kevin LaRoche, Richie Graves, Zach Soliday, John Soliday, Matt Elmore, Chris Sloan, Jeffrey Callahan, Pete Sidries, Brett Sloan, Taylor Richardson, Evan McCandless, Ben Gamby, Kevin Sal, Lane Kelly, Tyler Fishback, and Brandon Banning.
I shall read the proclamation now for you. Whereas the soccer program began at Cookeville High School in 1988, and whereas the 2007 Cookeville High School boys soccer team advanced to the state tournament this year, the second time they have reached the state level, their first being in 2002, and whereas the team had an outstanding season, finishing as District 7 AAA runners-up, Regional 4 AAA runners-up, sectional winners, and state quarterfinalists with a 7-0-1 district record. Whereas 8 players have been named All-District for their outstanding play in 2007, and news of All-State and All-Region is anxiously anticipated. And whereas under the leadership and direction of head coach Grant Kelly, the Cookeville High School soccer program has progressed to the level of state prominence. Therefore, I, Gene Davis, Vice Mayor of the City of Cookeville, do hereby proclaim these athletic achievements worthy of recognition and commend Coach Kelly and the Cookeville High School soccer team for outstanding play and sportsmanship and for the recognition their achievements have brought to the Cookeville High School and this community this 21st day of June 2007.
Some of these people would probably pay you guys to stand here and block us for the rest of the meeting.
That's it, yeah.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Those are the pleasant things that we do. Now to old business. If you will turn in your books or look at your minutes. Item 5, consider approval of minutes of council meeting held on June 7, 2007. Do I hear a motion to accept these as presented, or are there any additions or corrections?
So move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor of approval, say aye.
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 Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 6, consider on second and final reading ordinance number 070617, amending Title 18, Chapters 1 and 2 of the Cookeville Municipal Code relative to water sewer rate increase. Sponsor, Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor, council, I don't know of anything that's changed since the last time. If you've got questions, I'll be happy to answer them, or I can go through what we went through the last time.
Does the council have any questions to ask of Mr. Kelly?
Mr. Shelton, last time you asked about some like impact fees and so forth. I'm looking at those. We will probably be coming back in the winter time because we'll bid out materials for meters and so forth. We absorbed some of that cost last winter because of inventory and so forth. This winter we'll get our inventory, our pricing on new meters, and we'll be able to calculate new costs, and we'll need to adjust those. And at that time, probably bring something back to you guys to discuss and talk about. They're all over the board.
Okay.
Some big ones and some little ones. And
just for clarification, though, this was about a 10% in water and 20% in sewer?
yes.
Any other questions, comments? Do I hear a motion to approve this on second and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor for this ordinance being passed, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 7, hold a public hearing and consider on second and final reading ordinance number 070614, providing a tax levy for the 0708 fiscal year. Sponsor Mike Davidson.
Vice Mayor and Council, there's been no changes since first reading regarding the tax rate. Again, it would be at 79 cents, and I would recommend your approval.
Do I hear a motion to...
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to consider on the final reading. Any discussion? Any discussion, comments from the audience? If not, all in favor vote aye.
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 Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 8, hold a public hearing and consider on second and final reading ordinance number 070615, authorizing appropriations for financial aid to public service, nonprofit, and charitable organizations for the 0708 fiscal year. Mike Davidson.
Vice Mayor, Council, again, no changes as to appropriations for the nonprofits from first reading. We have total contributions of $590,275, and I'd recommend your approval.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Now discussion. Question?
There was a question about the sharing or percentages of share for the library. Did we get clarification on that?
We did. We're leaving the appropriation at the $11,250. We will not go over that amount. Mr. Shipley and I are going to work that out with the county and the library, that appropriation amount for that specific line item. So it could be slightly less than the $11,250 for that capital line.
Okay.
But it will not exceed that amount.
The other part stays the same.
Everything else stays the same. Nothing has changed since first reading. It's just the question as to the city's portion of the contribution to the library might be a little bit slightly less than the county's, and that's what Mr. Shipley was referring to last time. And as long as we don't exceed the $11,250, we're going to work that out. And it could be slightly less. It may be right around the $10,500 mark.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the council? Any questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
All right. Item 9, hold a public hearing and consider on second and final reading ordinance number 070616, making appropriations for the various funds, departments, and agencies of the City of Cookeville for the 0708 fiscal year. Mr. Davidson.
Mayor and council members, we have got one changed since first reading. Council would ask the fire chief to investigate possibly purchasing a command vehicle for his captains. He looked into that. His recommendation is that we still just purchase one SUV, let the captains rotate that. We've added that purchase into the budget. It's a $22,000 capital item. That would jump our capital items up from $469,900 to $491,900. Even with adding that item to the capital budget, we still have a budget surplus in the general fund of $32,245. Other than that, there's been no changes in appropriations for all the funds and all the departments, and I'd recommend your approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions or discussions? Any from audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving to consent agenda, item 10. We will be, set a date for a public hearing on ordinance 070618, rezoning 2160 Denton Avenue from RM8, a multifamily residential, to RM14, multifamily residential. And that date would be, Ms. McLean?
July the 19th,
All right.
2007, 6 p.m.
And item 11, maybe we just do all these at one time and then prove it. Item 11, we will set a date for a public hearing on ordinance number 070619, rezoning 805 North Whitney from University to CL, local commercial. And that date would be?
July the 19th, 2007, 6 p.m.
And then the resetting the date.
Well, we need to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Even
She's
without
got
the
one more
11A.
item.
We got one more item. Put that
She's got the item that you
We're gonna
added.
add that one item on.
All right, we are resetting a public hearing date for the annexation of Bunker Hill Road / Lovelady, and that would be?
July the 19th, 2007, 6 p.m.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda and setting those dates. Any questions or comments from council or audience? Hearing none, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Now then, to new business, item 12, consider resolution 070609, authorizing the participation in the TML Risk Management Pool, Safety Partners, Loss Control Matching Grant Program. Ms. Andrews.
Vice Mayor and Council, the city will be applying for a $2,000 grant through the TML Partnership Program for 2 tasers for the police department. I would recommend your approval, please.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this item and for this resolution, I mean. Any questions or comments?
Is this a grant we do every year? Or?
Yes, it is a matching grant, and we will be matching it with the purchase of 4 vests.
I'm sorry?
What now?
We will be matching that with the purchase of 4 vests for the police
Vests.
department.
Oh, okay.
Protective vests.
With 4 vests?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that stipulated in the grant, or is that?
Yes,
Yeah,
we have
okay.
to provide a $2,000 match, and we will be purchasing 4 vests
Okay.
to match the $2,000
Okay.
for the tasers. Yes.
As opposed to more tasers? Why wouldn't we purchase more tasers? Do we not need more
Because
tasers?
he has tasers in his budget,
Oh, okay.
and they also need vests as well.
I see. All right.
Any other questions from council?
Is that money in the budget? Yes? Oh, okay.
Any other comments or questions? Any from the audience? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 13, consider declaring surplus property vehicles, equipment, and et cetera. Mr. Davidson?
Vice Mayor and Council, we have a number of items to declare surplus from the various departments. I'm just going to kind of run through them with the general fund within our print shop department, which we no longer do in-house printing. We have some equipment down there that we no longer use or basically know how to operate, really. We have a printing press, some type of a thermal type printer, a multi-collator, a numbering machine, and a plate maker that has another part, a copyright additional top plate maker that goes with it that makes metal plates or a paper plate, basically. That's within the print shop. Those items would free up some space down there in that office, so hopefully we might be able to utilize that space better. Within the water department, they have a manure spreader.
Some would say that's the council, wouldn't it?
I was gonna say.
A sewer
Probably could
rotting
use that
machine.
in November, I think.
They also have a Hewlett-Packard Design Jet printer and a sewer rotting machine that they would like to declare surplus. They no longer use these items. Within the gas department, we have a 1984 Dodge pickup and a 1987 GMC pickup that's been out of service for about 3 years now. It's been over at the city garage, and I think they've scavenged all the parts off of those two vehicles. Electric department has a 92 Ford F-150 and a 1992 Chevy Blazer to declare as surplus property. And then within the public works department, there's a number of items. The old patch truck that we have, 2 dump trucks, 1986 models, a 1990 GMC pickup, an 88 Ford pickup F-150, a 2-ton truck, it's a 78 model, and then they also have some other miscellaneous equipment, a tailgate spreader, not sure what that is, and bush hog, it's basically down to parts on that bush hog, and then 2 finish mowers that are been scavenged too. And I believe that's all the items we have to declare as surplus. We'll put those items on Gov Deals to auction those off if you declare those surplus.
Are printing machines something you
Let's
don't...
get a
You
motion.
gotta put a motion on the floor.
So moved.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion and a second to declare the surplus property. Now then, Mr.
Williams.
Williams.
Newly elected councilman. Would there be a better place to auction off printing material than Gov Deals? I mean, how many government municipalities actually have their own printing shops? I didn't know whether it'd be better to do something on eBay or something like that.
I don't know. We have quite a few hits on the govdeals.com website. I mean, it's not. There's many cities across the state and across the nation that use this website.
So you've been successful with this?
Oh yes, very much so.
Could you,
We have lots of individuals, private individuals look at it and bid on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
So it's open
private.
to-
It's open to the public. Yes,
Oh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
yes. It's just like it's basically an eBay for governments to put their items on there and then bid them out, and it's open to the world basically.
Does it cost the city to put it on?
There's a small fee. They get a percentage of the sale price
Okay.
to put that on there.
Any other questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of declaring the surplus property, vote aye.
aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 14, consider authorizing the city manager to settle litigation relative to 1250 East Hudgens Street. Mr. O'Mara, our attorney, will speak to that.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is some ongoing litigation arising out of the construction of Old Kentucky Road, approximately at the corner, well, exactly at the corner of Hudgens Street and Old Kentucky Road, which is approximately 1 block north of 10th Street. This property, the owner of this property granted the city an easement for sewer line and a temporary construction easement. The problem arose that the temporary construction easement did not also include a slope easement, which they all do now. And we attempted to make the gentleman happy, but he was not happy and filed suit, an inverse condemnation action, alleging that we'd irreparably harmed his property by sloping his property rather than having it level with a steep drop-off as it was prior to the matter. We've fully discovered this, gone through a settlement conference. We're a great deal apart in the settlement conference, and we're asking permission to, we've made a offer of proof in this case, that an offer of judgment rather, in the amount of $10,000. We've reached tentative settlement of this case for $12,000 payment to the landowner and his counsel, and additionally to pay up to $750 in litigation expenses, deposition expenses, and expert witness expenses if there are any to that extent. And I recommend your approval.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second to settle this litigation?
Second.
All right, now, any questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor of settling this, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 15, hold a public hearing on the annual 6-month progress report on the plan of services for the Gall-Dodson Branch Road annexation area. Mr. Littrell, excuse me.
Vice Mayor and City Council, this is the 6-month progress report and plan of services, Gall-Dodson Branch Road annexation. The annexation of this area became effective on December 17, 2006. All the services have been provided except for the electric service and the street lighting. The Cookeville Electric Department is pursuing necessary measures to acquire the service area from Upper Cumberland Electric Membership Cooperative. The plan of services specifies that electric service at city rates will be provided in the area within 1 year after the city acquires the service area. Street lighting is to be provided to the entire annexation area within 1 year after the city acquires the service area. That concludes the report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council does not need to take action on this. This is just hearing a report, but if any questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Littrell. Item 16, consider approval of purchase of tasers. Chief Terry.
Vice Mayor and Council, we're seeking permission to purchase 8 additional tasers at a price of $6,520. That purchase will be made out of the drug fund to offset some budgetary things that we did to work some other stuff in, but we'd ask your approval.
Do I hear a motion to?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the tasers. Any questions for Chief Terry from council?
Chief Terry, will people then, they check their tasers in at the end of a shift, right? They don't...
Everybody doesn't have one.
Right.
We try to keep a substantial number available because from time to time we do have some of them go down, the batteries have to be replaced and that sort of thing. So it's to have 3 or 4 on standby is not unusual and really needed.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions from council? Any comments or questions from audience? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of purchase, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, the next item will be the emergency purchase of the box culvert. Mr. Brown.
Mayor and Council, during some routine maintenance on the box culvert between 1st and 3rd on Maple, it was discovered that the sidewalk and part of the road was being undermined. We felt it was important to replace this as soon as possible. I called in several suppliers. Only Sherman-Dixie was the only one that had the size we needed in stock. The price was $13,675.20. It's 8x4 concrete box culvert, 42 feet long. The price per foot is $325.60. I did get another price for another supplier if they would have had it, and it was about $390 a square foot or a linear foot. So I think we've got a good price for it. I would recommend your approval.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions regarding this issue?
And I'm assuming you guys are going to set this as quickly as you get it?
We're going to close the road Monday and start digging the old one out. The box culvert's scheduled to be here Tuesday morning.
And so that road will be inhibited for traffic for how many days?
Hopefully we'll have it opened up Wednesday.
And when you said that it was routine maintenance, and this is just curiosity and also being the new person, were you just wandering around, or do you look around and look? I mean, I don't mean that. You know what I mean? Do you have a little set?
We had a call on, there's a drain through the sidewalk with a metal plate over it, and somebody called about that plate. And we were checking it, and when we noticed the sidewalk starting to separate from the road, and that's how we discovered it.
Okay, I just wondered.
You've been known to pick daisies, I guess.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I meant. I just, you know.
Who knew what culvert was, you know, what I say.
Any other questions or comments? Any questions from the audience? All in favor of the emergency purchase, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, Mr. Brown will continue now with the traffic control cabinet and traffic signal mast arms uprights.
Mayor and council, we took bids on traffic control cabinets for several locations. Most of these are upgrading to 8-phase cabinets and replacing one old cabinet. This is a sole source provider. This is the only provider that has the brand of controllers that we use. The total bid for the 4 cabinets is $34,898 and recommend your approval.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second to approve purchase of this item?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or comments from council?
When you say that no one makes this kind of, is there something that's dramatically different about this than something else?
It's just the brand we use. Several different suppliers have different brands, and most cities use one brand or the other, so everything will interconnect with it.
All right, any other questions or comments from audience? Hearing none, all in favor of this purchase, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, we have the next item.
I have one more item here. I should have done them all at the same time. But we also have mast arms and uprights for traffic signals.
I'm sorry, yeah, that was not in there, I'm sorry.
One for Walnut and Fairgrounds, and the other one for 7th and Peachtree. I would recommend Southern Lighting and Traffic Systems, just a low bid meeting specs at $28,665.
Do I hear a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
We have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have awarding,
Let me ask, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
About that, so obviously we're going to be putting a light at Walnut and Fairground. This is the ordering of that, correct?
Yes.
When the road's finished, and then we'll put that.
Yeah, the controller and the mast arms our forces will be doing that in conjunction with the construction of Fairground.
Good, okay. Thank you.
And these will be LED capable lights?
All the new ones we put out are LED.
All right, Mr. Kelly now will come forward and talk about the chemicals and water quality control department.
Mayor and council, we recently bid our chemicals we use at our water plant, some of our wastewater facilities, and we'd recommend the low bid meeting specs.
Do I hear a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do you have a second? All right, we have a second. And any questions about that item from any in the council or from audience? Hearing none, all in favor for the purchase, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next is item thermal imaging cameras, fire department, sponsor Captain Lynch.
Vice Mayor and Council, we just recently received bids for thermal cameras, thermal imaging cameras, and recommend the low bid meeting specs of municipal emergency service at $19,542.
Do I hear a motion to accept this bid?
Move for approval. Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the bid. Any questions or comments from council? Any comments, questions from the audience?
We have one now, or
We have 3 now.
3 now?
Yes, sir.
And
These will put one on every vehicle.
every vehicle, okay.
These also have the capability of letting us outside and see what's going on inside.
Does the police department have any of those? That's the new one that was in the paper? Same kind of, something similar?
I have no idea. There's several different kinds out there.
What did...
Ours has got the police on the side of it.
They have more than you, though.
And we're okay with that.
Any other comments or questions?
I have another question, one question. Now, you said that, tell me again what it does.
This particular model will let us see outside what the firefighters in the building are seeing.
Oh, okay.
Their image will project out to a receiver on the outside.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor of the purchase of the imaging cameras, vote aye.
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 Opposed, no.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. That completes the agenda that we have. We have a few moments for hearing of the citizens or comments from council, and we can do that at this time.
Greg, I didn't think you were picking daisies. I want you to know that.
We covered a lot of territory this evening with finishing the budget, and we thank you for your patience and understanding as we work through these, and we are looking forward to a prosperous new year. Right, Mike? If there's not any other questions or comments, I'll declare the meeting adjourned.
That's a brand new one.
I'll go
Brand new one.
Pass those pens out.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I'm kidding.